The following is a live copyrighted presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for RadioLawTalk.com with your host, Frederick Penny, attorney at law. And now, RadioLawTalk.com.
Welcome to Radio Law Talk. I'm Frederick Penny, your host. I was just looking at pictures of Zamora, the teacher that has just been sentenced to 20 years in prison. We're going to talk about that this hour, but just very interesting to see what happened and whether or not you believe 20 years in prison for basically having sexual relations with a 13-year-old is too much or not enough. And we're going to talk about some other specific ones that were fairly similar, but not the exact same thing, and what they received. That was other men that had relations with minors and what they received. Again, all states are different and every scenario is different, so you have to remember that. We're going to discuss that. Call us at 855-LAW-RADIO or tweet us at Radio Law Talk. We do a thing called Case or No Case, which Cal tries to stump us by either giving us a real case scenario, and we determine whether or not what the outcome is, or it's a fake case, and he tries to stump us to determine whether if we can figure out if it's fake case or a real case, and then we receive points for that. Those of you in our newest affiliate, we're telling you that so you can understand some of the favorite things that everybody loves to hear, which is the Case or No Case. Welcome, WSGI, 1100 AM, Springfield, Tennessee. Todd's hometown as a prosecutor. He didn't grow up there, but it's kind of his semi-hometown.
My home state.
Yeah, where he was a prosecutor there. So we're exciting to finally have Tennessee in our wheelhouse and part of the family. So let's remember that. The other thing we're going to talk about is a man who was sentenced for stealing Marilyn Monroe statue. And what's interesting is if you look at the pictures and we discuss this case, how the heck did he get away with this? Broad daylight. There's actually a picture of him taking it down with a hacksaw in broad daylight. So anyway, at least that's what I understand.
Fred, also, when a man's got an urge, man's got an urge.
Or I wonder how much he was smoking.
It could be.
And then we're going to talk about some legal issues with Taylor Swift and Jeff Bezos' divorce. Denise, that's in your wheelhouse. We've got to talk about how Jeff Bezos' wife is going to have to live like a pauper the rest of her life. It's just, I feel so bad for her.
I don't know how she's going to get by.
I'm not quite how sure she's going to get by, but
should we start a GoFundMe page?
We should probably start a GoFundMe page, and then we'll help her out. So we're going to discuss that. But before we get to that, just remember that we're talking about general legal issues. Seek counsel for any thing that you need to discuss or talk about or get an opinion on. Do not take us I'm going to say don't even listen to us. I'm going to say other than using it for, I'd say Christmas time around the table with the in-laws.
Yep. Christmas time, Thanksgiving, you're around, and everybody's talking, and somebody says, they said, they say that back in my day, we didn't have none of those comedy shows, or whatever. You can come back and say, well, I noticed you gave no citation, no example of the word they, and I'm going to come back with some Radio Law Talk citations. That'll get you. That'll do it for you.
Okay, Cal, without further ado, let's go to Hour 2, Case or No Case.
Now it's time to play Case or No Case.
Yay!
All right. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is a game of skill, no wagering. All right. I take you now to England. Last time we were together, we had a Case or No Case about a wedding photog. This is, I think, my last wedding photog case for the year. Mark and Sylvia Day were presented with a compact disc full of pictures from the big day. Heads chopped off, inattentive guests, random close-ups of vehicles. The cutting of the cake was missed. Of the 400 images they were given, only 22 met with their approval, and those marginally. They also received unedited, shaky video footage of the event, with the camera operator dropping the camera in the middle of the ceremony, accompanied by a swear word when he picked
I know where this one's going, by the way. I'm already ahead of you.
In a further insult to the occasion, Gareth Bowers of Fresh Images Photography misspelled their names on the thank you cards. It said, "Thank you, Slavia and Mark." The couple had selected their photographer, Mr. Bowers, after visiting 11 bridal fairs. Didn't get their album more than a year after they tied the knot. They just got the disc. Mrs. Day said things went from bad to worse because the photog and the videographer kept missing important key points throughout the day. There were no nice group shots with the bride, the groom, the family, etc., etc. They asked for a refund. Photog says, "You're out of your mind. I didn't guarantee the quality of the pictures, only that I would take them. And I did. You now have your wedding album. There's no accounting for taste, and just because you didn't like the pictures doesn't mean I shouldn't get paid." So the married couple sought counsel. And so I ask you, case or no case? And it's a time that we start with Mr. Todd Cunin on this particular adventure. Mr. Cunin.
Well, I have no doubt that the married couple sought counsel. I just didn't know if it was legal counsel or marital counseling, but I don't know if you're going to let me get away with that one.
No,
Boy,
not going to.
you know, I'm going to go out on a limb here because go big or go home. I'm going to say no case. I know that you already gave us one no case today with the previous one, but I'm going to say this one was a no case because of something that I picked up on while you were giving the scenario and our reactions to it. So that's my no case final answer.
All right. Denise Dirks, what say you? Case or no case? And if it was a case, what was the outcome?
Well, certainly, England, I don't know England laws, but I have to assume some of them are kind of similar because a lot of the United States laws are derived from English laws. And so I would have to say that it's a breach of warranty, that the photographer and the person who put on the wedding, whether it was the photographer and also then, did the thank you cards, that they warrant that they're going to do a product that's something that you could utilize. And utilizing means seeing the faces on people and seeing the group shots. And weddings are very traditional. You have pictures of the cake cutting, and you have, pictures of each of the families with the bride and all of that. So I would say definitely it's a breach of contract issue, and specifically that this photographer / stationary person actually breached that warranty, that they warranted their product. And I'm going to say that it is a case, and I'm going to say that the damages, they got back 22 over 400, no, opposite. Because 22 pictures were okay, the relative damages was kind of gone between what was okay and the mass that wasn't, and so they got most of their money back.
So they got a portion of their money back.
Yeah, most of it.
We can just say that. Okay,
Yes.
Fair enough. Mr. Penny, what say you? Case or no case? And if so, enlighten us as to your thoughts on the outcome.
I'm going to play the photographer. There's the whiskeys over there. I know where the champagne is. George, grab me another one. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture. Whoa, there's 3 people. Give me another shot of that whiskey. He was drunk. He was drinking all the wine and all the drinks. That's exactly what happened. He's like, I'm going to take the picture right here. And you know what? They should have known it when they said, okay, we're cutting the cake. Just a minute. Let me take the picture. And then they should have kicked him out right there or got someone else. Got Aunt Martha to take the pictures. But I'm going to tell about the more details of why I think this is a case when we come back, because I know what I'm doing when it comes to wedding picture taking.
You're listening to Radio Law Talk on your favorite radio station and on RadioLawTalk.com. And we remind you, the show is live 9 to noon every Saturday Pacific time. You can listen live on the website then.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to RadioLawTalk.com.
Jason Rosbach here with Fred Penny, managing attorney from Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Now, Fred, what type of cases are you dealing with now, and what sets you apart?
Jason, we help people with all types of personal injury cases. We're former insurance company trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
That's Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or give them a call, 1-800-616-4LAW. That's PENNEY lawyers.com.
This is Denise Dirks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
Hi, I'm Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I bet you're tired of hearing lawyer commercials, so just relax and listen to music for a few seconds. When you or a family member has been injured, call 800-616-4LAW or see us at PennyandAssociates.com. See, that wasn't so bad.
I am Cameron Levitt, Chief Operating Officer of Concussion Medical Clinic. California's first concussion medical clinic is now open. As concussions increase each year, there has never been a greater need for concussion specialists. Our physicians at Concussion Medical Clinic are board certified in pediatric neurology and sports medicine and have partnered with universities, hospitals, and rehab clinics to expedite the recovery process. Simply put, we are elevating the standard of care. When you need an expert concussion opinion or concussion care, visit concussionmedicalclinic.com to schedule your...
I've got to get my car washed. This dirt, it just won't do. But I don't have no time today. I don't know what I do.
Man, I know this place right down the road. Quick, quack, car wash. Hop inside, let's take a ride and watch this cat and shine. Just come and see, I guarantee your ride will steal the show. Come on, quick, quack, car wash. Don't drive that dirty car. Quick, quack, car wash. They'll have you looking sharp. Come on.
Many women have so many clothes in the closet, but then we go to get dressed and find we have nothing to wear. We've all been there. We all want to be comfortable and fashionable at the same time, and it's difficult to find clothing that makes that task effortless. But at Letty & Company, you can find trendy, comfortable clothing that is affordable, things you'll want to wear every day. Shop with a purpose, online with free shipping. Just go to LETTYandcompany.com. LettyandCompany.com.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14,
31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds, I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood.
You're listening to RadioLawTalk.com. And now back to your host, Frederick Penny.
Show the facts are, we're taking pictures, and pretty much we don't have very good pictures.
I dropped the camera, dang.
Drinking a couple of, that champagne is really good. So this guy's drunk, in my opinion, and I'm telling you right now, he's taking horrible pictures. There's only 22 good pictures that show up. They sue. He said, I only guaranteed I'm taking the pictures. I'm not guaranteeing the quality of the pictures. And I'm going to say, I don't know the laws in England, but I'm going to say this is the thing. It's a case, and they win, as in the couple that got the cruddy pictures, because there's an assumption of certain standards within the community of photographers that you have to meet. In other words, we didn't guarantee that you would have good pictures, but they're going to say, too bad, there's an assumption that pictures are at a certain standard or level. I know in the United States and many states that's what the argument would be. So I'm going to say it's a case, and the couple wins. They get their money back. They should have got more than that, and they probably lost tons of money on their wedding for the 40 or 50 bottles of wine and or champagne that this guy drank.
No discussion about alcohol in the suit. Only just lousy. I guess I gave it away. Those of you who say it is a case, Fred and Denise.
God is smoked. It's a case.
It is a case.
Yeah, whatever.
Those of you who say it is not a case. Okay, now, for those of you who say that the plaintiffs, that is the happy couple, won.
Yes, Denise and I. Yes. Fred Penny and Denise nailed it. Denise Dirks and Fred Penny.
They were awarded some compensation by the judge after winning a case for breach of contract against the photographer. The deputy district judge found in favor of the days at the court and criticized Mr. Bowers for providing inappropriate photos that were woefully inadequate.
Inappropriate photos.
Bowers said, well, Your Honorship, sir, I've been in the business for 4 years, and I've shot 20 weddings. That's all he'd shot was 20 weddings in 4 years. Now, he was ordered to pay back $500 from the 500 pounds from the $1,450 the days had given him. So $450 damages, $100 for the loss of earnings, and $170 in court fees.
That's
so
pretty good.
They didn't recover all of it.
No.
The judge said, it's not just the quality of the pictures, but the subject of the photos is unworthy of wedding photographs. Bowers also missed the cutting of the cake, and you can see how angry the groom was getting at the wedding video. And in fact, the bride said that she did, because of the lousy photographer, she did a psycho knife action in the wedding video toward the photographer saying, come on, man, get some pictures here. Anyway, the judge said it was a car crash from start to finish, and therefore you're going to have to give them back most of what they
Good case. That was a good case. And I think in the United States, the same thing probably would have happened.
And now, next time, by the way, I want to tease. Next time on Case or No Case, I will take you to the lovely village of Austin, Texas.
Now, let me tell you, I'm going to give you, as an attorney, I'm going to give you some advice, ladies and gentlemen out there. No, let me back up. As Fred Penny, not as an attorney, I'm going to give you advice. When you're at your wedding and your photographer shows up and he's got a bag and he zips open the bag to take pictures, and he pulls out these little cardboard square little camera things, the disposable ones, and says, ready to go, you might want to have Aunt Martha take the pictures. So there you go. Just a little bit of advice from Fred Penny at Radio Law Talk.
Welcome to Tips by Fred Penny.
As a former wedding photographer myself, my advice is always have a backup, relatives or somebody, seriously, because you never know, and especially in the days of film. So much could go wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
I would always bring somebody else with me and say, please shoot just in case I have a problem. And
Right.
Only bailed me out one time out of like 60 that I did, but that one time was huge. So, right. Anyway, that's Case or No Case. Thanks.
So there's a man in Southern California that is in love with Marilyn Monroe for some reason, and he just can't help himself, but he wants the Marilyn Monroe statue that is sitting on top of Four Ladies of Hollywood statue is what it's called, and that's at the corner of Hollywood and La Brea Boulevard. And it shows him. Wait a minute, I don't think it. Wait a minute, it might have been nighttime. It shows them going up there. I don't know if they're replacing it or what they're doing, but he climbs up there and gets a hacksaw. Now you got to see this. This is not like someplace you can just go and grab it. You're going to have to get a really high ladder or a one of those, what do you call those, lifts to get up to it. But he climbs up there somehow, uses the hacksaw, cuts it down, and someone even says that they see him doing it and watch him do it. Now that's what's just ironic to me is, it's interesting that, oh yeah, someone's up there hacksawing the Marilyn Monroe. maybe you should call the cops. I'm not quite sure.
And this guy is kind of an interesting gentleman, for lack of a better description, because he also was convicted. He pled no contest to felony vandalism for smashing President Trump's Walk of Fame star.
I remember that
with
case.
a pickaxe.
Yes.
So this guy is like in the business of defacing, memorial statues or whatever you want to call them.
We call that a half-court low where I grew up.
Yeah. Oh, they're running a half-court low on motor oil in the old brain there.
Okay, this is the question.
I didn't get it. I thought you said half-court. So I'm going, basketball?
No, he's a half-court low. So this is what's interesting. He pleads no contest to felony, grand theft, and vandalism. We only have 1 minute, Todd. Tell us really quick what no contest means.
No contest means you're not admitting the facts of the case, but you are basically saying, yeah, if it went to trial, there's enough there to convict me. I'm not going to contest this. I'll take it. You preserve your defenses for any civil suits.
Yeah, okay. We're going to come back and talk a little bit about Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. This is interesting as to Taylor Swift's rights to her prior, I think it was 5 prior albums or more than that we're going to discuss. And then we will talk about Brittany Zamora. I'm not quite sure. I'm teasing you on that. That's an interesting one for you guys. Hang on. We'll be right back. I'm Fred Penny, your host of Radio Law Talk.
Lots of resources on our website, radiolawtalk.com. All you have to do is go over there. Pretty easy. We'll see you in just a minute. Don't go away.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-918-1376. 800-918-1376. 800-918-1376. That's 800-918-1376.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less.
800-263-2610. 800-263-2610. That's 800-263-2610.
Warning, don't...
Where's Fred?
Radio Law Talk. Now, back to the show.
Halfway through this hour of Radio Law Talk, and we are cooking with gas and talking about HBO and the lawsuit that they are facing by the estate of Michael Jackson over the Leaving Neverland documentary that HBO put out earlier this year. Now, the specific issue that we're talking about here is, again, HBO says that the 1992 agreement with the Jackson estate, I mean, that is just over. It's done. It's gone. It doesn't apply to this. We had agreed not to disparage him. when we did that show in 92, Cal.
Who came up with this legal theory?
What legal theory about
The legal theory saying, well, look, we signed a contract for a separate production all that time ago, and it certainly must apply now. I
The state of Jackson.
It's fascinating
Yeah.
to me.
Well, to me, I'm looking at this non-disparagement clause. Is it a personal cause of action to sue on that contract for breach of contract that does not survive the death of Michael Jackson? I think that's another
big issue. That's a huge issue.
Good one, yeah.
Because and that's one of the things that HBO is arguing. And the first issue, the first hurdle that they have is we've got a bit of a chicken and egg thing going on here. And I'll explain it this way. If the contract is controlling, if the 1992 contract is still in play and that has to be adhered to, well, that contract contains an arbitration clause. And HBO is making the argument that by throwing us into arbitration, if the state, by virtue of a court, is ordering that we have to go to arbitration based upon this clause, then we're being denied our First Amendment rights to do, among other things, raise certain defenses that should be heard in state court. That's one. But in order to get to whether or not the case should be ordered to arbitration, you have to decide whether or not the contract even applies. So does the contract apply to get us to arbitration? Well, we're going to go to arbitration to figure that out. But we can't go to arbitration if there's no contract.
It's putting the cart before the horse.
Yes.
You know, you're back right into that whole circular thought. And in this particular case, I truly believe that whether or not the contract applies is a legal question. It's not a factual question. It's a legal question, and I think a judge is going to have to decide that before they send it to arbitration.
I agree with you. That's one of the arguments the HBO is making. The other is with regard to what you talked about, bringing defamation claims after death. HBO is arguing that if you throw us into arbitration and rule that that's what can happen, then what's actually going to happen is that's going to end up authorizing these disguised defamation after death claims. You're going to allow these things to come in when they otherwise would not do so.
Totally agree.
So that's what's going on. But the court has also said before you guys go to arbitration, the court has authorized HBO to file what's called an anti-SLAPP suit. And SLAPP stands for
I love this, by the way.
Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Policy. And this, in essence, is if one person files a lawsuit against another, we'll just say the argument would be that the Jackson estate has filed a lawsuit against HBO seeking to keep HBO from airing this documentary, which would be a violation, which HBO has freedom of speech rights to author to put out. And even though it's a private party suing another private party, there's a public policy against the encroachment of that type of freedom of speech. And SLAPP suits or anti-SLAPP suits are designed to protect against that.
So HBO is specifically saying that this frivolous suit by the estate of Jackson is taking up the court time, there's the government tie, and silencing its speech, its right to free speech.
And the court, the state court, before throwing this into arbitration, has allowed HBO to fully brief this subject. And obviously the estate of Jackson can file their response briefs and whatnot. HBO has to have theirs filed by the 15th of August, and a hearing has been set currently, and these things oftentimes are continued, but currently set for September 16th. So we'll follow up on this to see what the court rules. This is an important one.
Especially the anti-SLAPP. I think what's going to happen, that's not going to go to arbitration, period.
I agree.
And so I'm excited about this case because it's really postured in a different way, and it does seem to be aimed at what could be viewed as a frivolous lawsuit.
And arguably, if the court agrees with HBO on the anti-SLAPP suit, then maybe there is no surviving lawsuit to go to arbitration. So a lot's hinging on this, and it affects the legal community in the sense that a lot of people looking at this to see what other potential plaintiffs and defendants will be doing going forward. So we'll follow it.
A lot of attorneys, when they get sued by the other side, they also bring an anti-SLAPP suit against that other side, because that's exactly what it's designed to protect from suits suing that just involve another case, and it's kind of a frivolous slap on the hand of the attorney and trying to, almost defame that attorney in a way. So the anti-SLAPP suit is a very good defense mechanism for attorneys.
I completely agree with you on that. There's been more
Scary.
agreement between Todd and Denise in this show. Fred is never going to leave again because the juice of this show has been the disagreements. It's when I sit in this chair, we're too close.
We're rubbing elbows.
Yes. Let's go ahead and stay with we'll call it the Hollywood theme. Talk about Katy Perry. So Katy Perry, it's almost getting to be where it would not be a Radio Law Talk without some sort of copyright infringement lawsuit in music.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. Katy Perry, Juicy J.
Let's
rage. Your boy's been a Christian.
Oh, Denise is now dancing here. Oh my God! Oh, she's doing the robot, the funky chicken. Oh.
That have tickled many ears. That's why I praise God for the word that we adhere. The word became flesh. Lived for 30 years.
I'm listening to this, trying to find
the
hook or the chorus.
So what you started off with, Cal, was the Katy Perry song "Dark Horse,"
correct?
Right? And then did that morph into the second part was the
Flame and Joyful Noise?
Yes, the group Flame and Joyful Noise. And Flame, a Christian rapper, is alleging that Katy Perry has infringed by using the chorus of the song. Denise, explain a little more about what's going on.
Well, it's the beat that is actually being claimed that she took from Flame, and Flame is known as Marcus Gray.
Now, did she sample the beat?
No, it's not that. This is a very different type of an infringement case, because normally the infringement cases are the written music,
melody line,
the melody lines, where the chords go, certain riffs.
Mm-hmm. Riffs, licks, chords, and structures.
Not riffs.
Yes. Yeah, riff,
but riffs.
Yeah.
And that's the normal type of infringement case. This case, he's claiming that she hook, line, and sinkered took the same beat from his music and used it for her chorus on Dark Horse. And it's really hard for me to distinguish.
How would you copyright a beat? Unless she directly sampled it off the record. And because that happens sometimes. Just listen to theirs, put it in a sampling machine, said, oh, let's use that, moved it over and directly used their work. How can you copyright a beat?
Well, if he has that, the drums and the stuff, and he puts it on a little tape and sends it in and copyrights that beat, perhaps that's it. It's not music, though. It's not written music.
Well, that's true. It's not. Now, copyright law has changed. We talked about the Led Zeppelin stuff before, and the issue in the Led Zeppelin case that we had talked about in previous episodes of Radio Law Talk, and you can find that in our podcast, dealt with the sheet music, because up until recently, to get a copyright on music, you had to have it transcribed, and the transcription, sheet music, was what you got the copyright on. Now you can file the actual recording as a copyright, which allows juries to listen to the recording and say, oh, this does or does not sound like that. It is the same. So this would probably fall into that purview, but it just didn't sound similar enough to me. If it was a jury of one, I think he would lose.
Jury of three.
And I couldn't get it either. Yeah, I tried to listen to it and I couldn't get it.
I get it, but you can't copyright like a backbeat. but I mean, come on.
I know.
Come on.
Well, stay with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll come back.
More Radio Law Talk is coming right up right here on this radio station and, of course, on RadioLawTalk.com. Stay right there.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to RadioLawTalk.com.
Jason Rosbach here with Fred Penny, managing attorney from Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. Now, Fred, what type of cases are you dealing with now, and what sets you apart?
Jason, we help people with all types of personal injury cases. We're former insurance company trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
That's Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or give them a call, 1-800-616-4LAW. That's PENNEY lawyers.com.
This is Denise Dirks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
Hi, I'm Frederick Penny of Penny & Associates Injury Lawyers. I bet you're tired of hearing lawyer commercials, so just relax and listen to music for a few seconds. When you or a family member has been injured, call 800-616-4LAW or see us at PennyandAssociates.com. See, that wasn't so bad.
If you're one of those independent people who wants your own business and you love food service, we just might have a great opportunity for you. Iceberg Drive-Ins. Iceberg is famous for its thick shakes and delicious food. We lend you our supply chain and expertise, and you can potentially have a thriving, successful, fun business that your customers will love. Iceberg Drive-Ins has some prime areas available right now, so if you're interested, get in touch with us right away. Go to icebergdrivein.com and click on the Contact Us button. Iceberg Drive-In. Ready to grow with you.
I'm going to Quick Quack Car Wash. Get my car washed, make it quick, quack, pretty, shiny, sexy, just because I want to. Don't drive dirty. Going to get my car suds in the Quick Quack Car Wash. It's the Quick Quack, quickest and the cleanest by far. We're talking 3 skinny minutes sitting right in your car wash. 100 feet of cloth, washing your car at the Quick Quack Car Wash. Any Honda, Mazda, Ford, or Chevy, Sauber, Cadillac, Quick Quack will spruce her up just like that. You'll be happy, looking snappy. You'll be glad you was at the Quick Quack Car Wash. Get on the web and go to don'tdrivedirty.com and see where you got your closest Quick Quack in the local area. Get in your car, get in your truck, get on the road, come visit the duck at the
Quick Quack Car Wash, where your car will always leave happy, guaranteed. They take pride in being clean and green by conserving and recycling the water they use, only at the
Quick Quack Car Wash. Quick Quack.
I'm a veteran. We hit a mine in Vietnam. When I came home, I didn't know where to turn.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
My victory's been never giving up hope. My wife is always there to remind me we have a life to live.
DAV provides a lifetime of support, helping veterans of every generation get the benefits they've earned.
I am a veteran, but after I got out, I spent 2 years alone and homeless.
Every year, DAV helps more than 1 million veterans so they can reach victories great and small.
My victory was finding the support to get back on my feet. Now I'm getting things right with my family.
I finally admitted, with my PTSD, I wasn't doing well.
But there's more to be done, and more victories to be won.
Now I wish I'd found DAV sooner. I am a veteran. My victory is just enjoying each day.
Help support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
That is Armadillo.
This is Radio Law Talk. And now, back to the show.
So we're talking about the Katy Perry lawsuit. You know, Led Zeppelin, during that lawsuit, They didn't allow the jury to hear the recordings of either songs because, again, based upon the controlling law at the time, the copyright was based upon the sheet music that was filed. So they allowed people to come in and play the renditions of the sheet music, but they didn't play the actual songs that we're hearing right now. This is the song. This is Spirit. Is that the name of the song, Cal?
Yes.
And
that's the name of the group.
Spirit, the name of the group, and this is the song that Taurus, that they claim that Stairway to Heaven infringed upon. Well, again, they did it based on the sheet music at the trial, not playing the actual song, an issue that was later taken up on appeal. But in the Katy Perry song, in the Katy Perry lawsuit, they actually, they wanted to play the music for the jury so the jury could hear. What happened?
Well, Katy Perry's on the stand, so imagine I'm a juror and I'm a fan already, right? So she said that she and the other co-creators of her Dark Horse song, they'd never heard of Gray before, and they never ever heard a song, Joyful Noise. And so she says there's no way we could have copied it. And then they were going to play her song in court so she could identify her own song, and her attorneys were having technical difficulties with the equipment in court, and they couldn't get it to play. So Katy Perry said, I can perform it live for you right now. Can you imagine?
That would be interesting to bring in.
That would be so fun.
I just want to know who's running AV for a multi-million-dollar trial, and they go, I got nothing.
Yeah, sorry.
I can't put the button that don't work.
Yo, look, I usually hook up the red wire to the red input, and it's not there.
Your Honor, I don't know. Usually that's the purview. I mean, do you bring in your own stuff, or does
well, it depends on the courthouse.
Because the modern courtrooms, at least where we are, they got more audio-video stuff than a theater.
I can tell you every trial that I have done where they have had the ability, and the court has these facilities where you can plug in and get everything done. Every one I've done, the court has said, if you're going to use this stuff, it's up to you to come in early and make sure that everything gets set up. It's not the court's issue. It's up to you to make sure that whatever medium you have works with us. Here's what we use. Here's the inputs we have. So you bring something that's compatible with this. And that's what they work. Now, Denise, you raised something interesting, and I will confess, I don't know the answer. I know what I think feels right about it, but you said that Katy Perry said that we could not have copied it from them because we had never heard it before, right?
Yeah, we've never heard it before. We don't know this singer. We don't know of this singer. There's no way that we could have copied it.
So we never even heard of the artist before she was alleging.
Exactly.
Right?
And both her and The Truth testified too. The Truth is the other co-creator.
So let me ask this situation, hypothetical, all right? And probably not to use this one. Let's use something that sounds a lot more similar. Let's say we've got two songs that sound a lot alike, and then people would genuinely look at that and go, oh, this one clearly sounds like that one, okay? And let's say that hypothetically we can say that one party has never heard, the infringing party has never heard the other song before. Does the copyright protection that the first party filed still protect them? Because, look, we got two things that sound alike. Does copyright protection only protect against people that knowingly infringe, or does it also protect against unknowingly? And the difference between knowing and unknowing is, well, if it was knowingly, your damages are going to be higher. But if it was an honest mistake, cure the mistake, but you don't get to continue to go forward. I got two hands up. Cal, you had your hand up first.
I was going to say, I know in one case where the one, and I wish I could think of it, what it was. If you don't intentionally do it, the judge ruled, well, that's an obvious idea then. More than one person came up with it at the same time. Therefore, it's an obvious idea, so your request for copyright protection cannot be granted because other people are coming up with the same idea at nearly the same time.
Denise?
In this particular case, though, there was no copyright. You have to know that the claim. He actually didn't copyright it, and it was available on YouTube, so it was out there in the public and available to be heard, and he could still claim copyright, although he didn't formally claim a copyright. And I think in this particular case, since it wasn't in existence in a copyright, but only out there to be heard, I think that's why in this case Katy Perry may win, honestly.
I remember back when I was taking communications in college, the professor in one of my classes talked about the poor man's copyright, which is if you create a recording, you pop that in an envelope and you mail it to yourself, certified mail, so that it bears the stamp of the post office.
And the date and time.
And the date and time, so you know that.
I've done that. Yeah.
He said to do that. A couple of the students did, and they got it back, and then they opened up the mail and pulled the thing out. And he said, "Well, you just destroyed your copyright. You have to leave it in there. You mark on the outside so when it shows up, you know what it is, but you don't take it out." But
unclear on the concept.
Yeah. Well, that's
so the issue in this case is just a little different. The issue was Joyful Noise widely distributed enough that it became copyrightable, or is it too short of an infringement on the works that it couldn't even be copyright protected? So that's a little different than enforcing your copyright.
Would they look and see how many views to see if it was widely enough out there?
That's part of it.
Yeah,
they looked at the views on YouTube. And of course, Katy Perry's attorney is saying it's not widely distributed on YouTube. It hasn't been widely distributed.
Well,
so
and
you don't have the right.
And I'm just going to put on my skeptical hat here. If you track, and I'm almost positive that you would see this borne out, if you track the number of lawsuits that have alleged copyright violations, and you go back and you look at the original recording that the artist says was illegally copied by somebody else, I bet there's a spike in YouTube's views, if that's all that is, iTunes sales, if it was available on iTunes. Anytime a lawsuit like this is brought, it's going to increase the exposure of the older song. And sometimes you look at this as sort of a marketing ploy, but who knows? I want to get to one.
And it could very well be, to be honest.
That is cynical.
That
is cynical, Todd Cunin.
We're coming up on the end of the hour, but I don't want to close out before we hit this. The New Orleans Saints, if you remember the playoff game, there was the non-call on pass interference that allowed ultimately the Los Angeles Rams to win the game, so the Saints fans say.
And then be embarrassed in the Super Bowl by the Patriots.
Yes, and several lawsuits were filed seeking. One lawsuit sought to have the game replayed from that point forward. It was ridiculous. But those were all filed in federal court, and they were all dismissed in federal court for various reasons. But one lawsuit was filed in the state court in Louisiana. Now, we had our case or no case earlier. And the case or no case earlier this hour dealt with why the plaintiff only sued for less than $75,000 because he didn't want it removed to federal court based upon the amount. The state court claim seeks $75,000, and the attorney has said specifically that the reason he sought that amount was because he didn't want the case removed to federal court because all of the previous lawsuits that have been filed in federal court have been dismissed. And in this case here, the judge has ruled that the case has survived the initial attempt to get it dismissed, and it looks now like Roger Goodell and maybe the officials will be subject to discovery, deposition. They're being sued for fraud. And so they're going to peel the onion on this to see what actually goes back and forth between the commissioner and referees and the like. I think it's interesting. I can have arguments on both sides, but we'll follow it going forward in future episodes to see what happens with this lawsuit.
And I learned a really valuable lesson, and that is don't ignore the NFL topics that we have, because I didn't read that. I didn't read that, so I wouldn't have gotten that question right.
Cal, take us out.
Well, what I'm going to do here is tell you that we have run into a little, do I have a technical problem? I do. I thought I did, but I don't. Yay. Thanks for listening to Radio Law Talk. That's going to conclude this hour. Remember, all 3 hours are available on RadioLawTalk.com. Of course, we're live there, too. We stream the show live every Saturday, 9 to noon Pacific. We'll be back.
You have been listening to RadioLawTalk.com, a copyrighted presentation of Radio Law Talk Incorporated.
Root for AMP Fest 19. AMP Fest 19 is the most entertaining political event and Trump Fest of the year for any conservative who wants to be empowered and entertained, or for any Trump superfan who wants to just have a blast. If that's you, head to the Trump Doral Hotel on October 10th to 12th in sizzling, sexy Miami, Florida. Headliner speakers at AMP Fest 19 include Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Dinesh D'Souza, Charlie Kirk of the Turning Point USA, Brandon Straka of the Walkaway Movement, and of course yours truly, Wayne Allen Root. I love that guy. But this is more than a traditional political event or Trump Love Fest. AMP Fest 19 features a Texas Hold'em poker tournament, golf tournament, comedy night, pool party, yacht party, fashion show, movie screening, Women for Trump social, and prayer breakfast hosted by Alveda King. To register for AMP Fest 19, just go to AmericanPriority.com. That's AmericanPriority.com. It all happens October 10th to 12th at the Trump Doral in sizzling, sexy Miami. I'll see you there. AmericanPriority.com.